Hello and welcome to Military Mantra. In this interview, we have today Group Captain Dr. S.N. Mishra, who has served in Indian Air Force for close to 35 years as a meteorological officer. And it's an interview. We'll try to understand his journey of joining Indian Air Force, life in the Indian Air Force as a meteorological officer, and various life lessons that he has learned over his service. So thank you, sir, for coming on this interview and welcome.
Thank you, Akash.
Sir, if you could, start telling us how was your journey before joining the Indian Air Force and what motivated you back then to join the IA?
See, I belong to a village, right? And so I have studied in primary Pathshala. I had no inkling of the armed forces all around which when I grew. So what had happened in my village itself, my elder brother, he brought, when I was in 6th standard, he brought one Sainik school Gorakhal form for entrance. I wrote that exam and I cleared it. So when time came to send me to Sainik school Gorakhal, it was that time my father told, no, because somebody has told him, it's very nice, no, he'll become military officer. So he said, whatever he'll become here only with, मतलब वो जो भी बनेगा ना यही बनेगा colonel or general. He said, will not send him. So that is how it ticked me that there is something called military officers and I need to work on it. Thereafter, I did my 8th from another village, same village school. And when I reached in 11th standard, I was relatively very good in studies actually. So I was very good in dramatics, debates. I used to be topper always. So I was a science student. So when I did my 11th, I went to a new college and I found that there is a senior wing, NCC battalion there, and students are being enrolled for senior wing NCC. So I went to my associate officer. I still remember it is Captain K.N. Dubey. When I approached him, he said, no, you can't join NCC because you are very short in height. And to my understanding at that point of time, I was slightly taller than him, actually. So I went to him again next day. I said, sir, that is okay. If you can't give me a chance, who else will give me a chance? And I think you also of the same height, if not taller. Somehow it hit him and he finally said, okay, you can enroll for the B certificate. So I enrolled for NCC certificate in 11th standard. I did B certificate, remained the best cadet in the entire battalion for 3 years. And when I reached in BSc Part 1, I completed my NCC C certificate in Army Wing. And that is the time that drive came in me to generally when I was looking at the officers, when I visited cantonments in terms of various visits, trips, my RD parade and all, that is the time it kicked in. We'll have to go that way. So that is how it all started. But frankly, I did not know any other route actually. By the time we were BSc Part 2, I went for a point of time because the science students did not have many options available to them. So I got admission in SD College Kanpur, my MSc. And what was happening behind at the same time, when people completed 12th, there was another issue which was coming up. A lot of people from village, from I would say from rural setting, they were going for airman selection, and those who used to get selected for airmen, they used to be considered hero there. And people have started looking down on me. You can't do much because you're not applied for it and this. So I also went for one selection for this, and I got selected, but I didn't join. So I did my MSc. I also wrote CDS at the same year. And unfortunately, what had happened, it was 1984, and I couldn't go for the CDS SSP because that time Indira Gandhi was murdered, and the whole lot of curfew, everything was imposed. So not with this in the Air Force, and I went for my SSB and at 4 AFSB Banaras, and I got selected for this. And that time there was no branch differentiation. No, all ground duty officers used to go for the same uh, selection process, and based on their qualification, they used to be allotted the branches based on what branches are available in that particular GDOC course. So when my selection, no, out of around a batch of 47, we 4 were recommended, and actually in AFA only I reached out of those 4 also. And when I got my first time that call letter, so it was written that your pilot officer so and so, this you have to join in the meteorology branch. That is the time I heard word meteorology actually first time. So that was my but since it was a defense, so I was quite pretty sure that I had to join, and I joined.
Got it. So you spoke about your process of joining as a meteorological officer. So if you can also put light on how the current process is, if somebody wants to become a Met officer in Air Force, how does that process look like?
Okay, it is like this. Why I got my meteorological branch allotted to me, because I was a post graduation in science. I had no MSc physics that time. Now meteorological officer is a PG in physics, chemistry, maths at that point of time. Over a period of time, they have again added some more qualification, but they are all PG qualification, whether it is MCA, whether it is forensic sciences or applied sciences, any of the applied sciences plus MTech. So over a period of time, people used to go through normal process, same process. They were going through FCAT also, but finally what had happened, as the options increased in the civil world, that time when we used to join, that time MSc Physics had very limited options. Like I had one option of I was preparing for civil services plus Indian Forest Services, and these are the 3 options which we had looked at that point of time. But later on, and engineering colleges were very limited. Actually, you talk about UP at that point of time, what I knew is IIT Kanpur at that point of time, IIT BHU and HBTI Kanpur. So we did not have many options to go for engineering. But later on, with many engineering institutes coming up, it's a total revolutionized world. And people had started opting for different kind of jobs, and definitely the kind of jobs which have come over a period of in last 2 decades are it's totally opened up for the science students. So Air Force has a shortfall for officers getting for meteorological branch. So to overcome that shortage, what they have done, they have now started a special entry for Met officers, where they will not be part of the FCAT, but they will be directly applying those who are PG in science, MCA, MTech, physics, chemistry, maths, meteorology, atmospheric sciences also. And once they reach there, then they again are interviewed along with all the once they are shortlisted based on their merit. Thereafter, they are again go for the same SSB along with other SSB aspirants.
Got it.
And it is only they are not being brought through FCAT, because a lot of people now, those who are MSc, that they don't get MSc, they are MTech, they are already going in other world, in the corporate world. So they wanted this focused approach, and that is how they have overcome. They have been able to overcome to this shortage of Met officers in the IAF for that because of this particular scheme.
Got it, sir. Sir, if you could, also put light on how was your SSB experience and what tips you would like to give to the aspirants who are watching this.
Yeah, it was actually, I have throughout been a hosteler. So when I reached SSB, it was not much of change. I've been very good in dramatics, debates, and entertainment. So once I reached at this, I had the natural this thing to adapt with the people there. All aspirants, SSB aspirants, those who were there. And I did not know anything about SSB. I just had met a couple of my seniors in the hostel, those who had gone there and came back. They said, no, it's little difficult. No, you got to have somebody from the armed forces in your family to get recommended and all. I just don't, I didn't trust that. And so it was going very well. And what I found that SSB, it is, the assessors are very smart. They are scientifically trained. They know what you have in you, whether you have it in you or you don't have. You got to be very honest to yourself. That is one. Secondly, the same situation, which you are being tested for your psychological test, the same psychological test which you are answering, whatever kind of psychology you are showing, the same thing is coming time and again in different situations. They are almost putting you through the same situations. So in case if you contradict your one to other, then I think finally they will find what is the truth actually which you have in you. So you have to be coherent, you have to be honest, and most of all that you must respect others also in your SSB course mates. They are smart, but when you are doing group tasks, you must ask, you must promote also people, and you see that everybody gets a fair chance in different kind of task which you are doing, and at the same time you take opinion, and if you have something, you be firm also, and you should be able to lead at times when the situation really becomes difficult. That is how you show your leadership. Give chance to others, bring the slightly weaker people also, try to bring them up. That is how it shows your team building also. So we had very fantastic group tasks, and we had good people, and so those people also assist you in doing your job well. So it's very good to have that kind of a harmony within your groups when you are joining SSB. And another important aspect is that whatever you tell or whatever you read in detail. Your study of a problem, because when interviewing officer asks you a problem, you got to really understand very well, and you have to give your opinion, which has to be slightly differentiated. Not that what you prepare for or somebody else has been telling. You must apply your own mind also, because basically SSB is looking at the basic content in an officer, in a candidate, and thereafter polishing will be done at the appropriate time, and that polishing is done very well the moment you join your academy.
Got it. Sir, my next question would be, related to what we usually hear is about officer-like qualities, OLQs. So what is your perspective about that? Does it get developed when you go to SSB, or does it get eventually developed? Since you're a very senior officer and you have seen a lot of young officers coming in, so what's your opinion?
What is important is that, see, they are looking at the instinct in an officer, in a candidate, whether he has got that basic. No, he doesn't know what is OLQ actually. When I went, I didn't know what are the OLQs. They see your basic behavior. They are looking at your basic behavior. You are decent enough. You are honest. You are committed. You are taking along with your team when you're working. See, in psychological, they'll put you through such a questions where they understand basically what is your psychology, whether you have got the right attitude for the forces, whether you're positive. Are you able to look everything positively, or you find problems with everything, or you're looking for solutions for issues? So that is one. In group task also, again, they are coming out, and the same process again, they are looking at your honesty, your your decision making amongst the group people, and how you are able to take the team along with you. Are you snubbing everybody every time, or you are giving somebody chance ki, okay, let him also speak his mind. You're promoting somebody. So these are all part of your leadership and team building up. And finally, even your when you're doing your individual tasks, they are also very important, because that is how they see whether you are attempting a problem, you are taking a decision, or you are trying to finish the task thoroughly. If you know, even if you don't know, are you making a serious attempt to the particular task which has been given to you? See, there are two kind of problems. When you are being given a problem, you start finding solutions. So you can have no issues with resources. You can have issues with time. Given time, resources, so you will apply your mind, look for those resources. So you don't say that I can't do it. You can do it provided you have put in your efforts, and thereafter you're looking for these resources. So that is how the problem is solved in any this thing. So never say die attitude. No, that is what is required in the services.
Got it, sir. So my next question is related to life of a Met officer look like in terms of routine, role, responsibilities. If you can explain that and picture it for the aspirants.
Yeah. See, so this is what, when we went to as I told you, that Met officer is not known many, and I also didn't know what is meteorology when I joined Air Force. Actually, exactly this is what the fact which I'm telling you. But after going there, we had started classes, teaching everything in AFE. So when I after training, when I reached to a station, and this is the story of every Met officer. The Met officer is considered early bird. In a fighter AFE, the Met officer is the first to get up in the morning, because he has to go prepare his briefings, and briefings in terms of how is going to be the weather, where all aircraft needs to go, what are the target weather, what is the en route weather, because this machine has to fly in the atmosphere. So he has to prepare all this briefing. He has to make a detailed briefing, and thereafter, so it takes him around 1.5 to 2 hours to make that assessment and presentation. And then the briefing is conducted. That is called mass briefing in the station. And that mass briefing, if it is at 6 o'clock, he has to reach at 4 o'clock. He has to prepare this, and that the first officer who does that mass briefing, the mass briefing has got a sequence: a Met officer, thereafter a ATC officer, then the communication officer, then the flight safety officer. That is how the mass briefing is conducted. And Met officer is the first who conducts briefing, and he'll tell you today what all missions which have been planned. And that plan comes one day before evening. The plan will come to the your Met section. So for each mission plan, he'll prepare a weather folder, and A, that he'll do mass briefing, and B, that he'll prepare those weather folder, and that is what he will do there and tell that today this is can happen, and this will not happen. Weather will roll out like this in the station, on the airfield where aircraft is going, or en route, how it is going to be. And thereafter, a Met officer continuously observes weather with the help of radar, Doppler weather radars, the satellite imageries, and the numerical weather prediction models, and his automatic weather stations which are installed all across him. He continuously iterates weather, and he issues weather warning and CMR at a station depending upon what is the likely weather conditions which will impact the air operations in the airfield. So his role is very critical, and this a Met section, that is how in the IAF, the other sections, when they close down, a Met section never closes down. It works on 24/7, because weather does not understand time, weather does not understand boundaries. When it will come, when it will hit, whether it will hit so hard that your installation infrastructure will get damaged. So he has to issue warning so that people can secure their aircraft outside. When it is not flying time, they can lower their antennas, they can close the hangar gates, that kind of thing. So the that is how the meteorological officer is only inducted in IAF, because IAF understood. But no, we keep telling what is terrain to army, that army moves on terrain, and the IAF moves in atmosphere. So no, it is basically cruising through the atmosphere. So weather is to Air Force. So important is the life of a Met officer initially, and so difficult that he rises early and works 24/7. So maybe 2, 3, 4 Met officers who will work in shift, no 7, 8 hour shift. But if it is so this thing, so it's always early riser. So somebody has made a comment at once, no, this is a little anecdote. Somebody, a person, a very senior person, he made a technical officer, he made a comment, yeah, hey, Matt में क्या है, तुम सुबह गए briefing करी, उसके बाद ठीक है, he said okay. Next day, whenever he went, he was next door neighbor. So whenever he went, he just pressed his bell. So he came, bola, I am going. This he did for 4 days, early morning at 3:30, 4 o'clock. And next day that officer came, yaar, maaf kar do. He said, so this is how it is so important that you work. So system is so important that the weather becomes so critical, so crucial. I'll tell you more when you ask some questions.
Got it, sir. Sir, I also understand your role is both in monitoring the weather and also for airstrike as well, which you have also mentioned on the profile as well. If you can differentiate between the role, the operation role, and also a peacetime role.
See, there are two. One is that we monitor weather on the station, right, continuously when there are profile. But other thing is that we do continuous analysis and research as to see how we can create the favorable windows for campaign of the IAF in different seasons, different regions. Like I have been involved in this, so I have totally, brought out such an aspect like high altitude. If you see high altitude air operations, now, high altitude has got very high limitations on aircraft. That aircraft weight, the moment the air gets slightly lighter, your density altitude is very high. And so any operations which are in high altitude operations, we'll have to advise aircraft this aircraft can only fly up to this time. It cannot fly beyond this time. So even the weather is very good, everything, but aircraft cannot take off. Aircraft engine cannot start in no air mass weight. So these are the issues which we very critically. Apart from that, any major operations which are conducted, we conduct serious exercise before that and analyze the entire terrain and the weather elements, just to see which is the most favorable, the kind of frequency which the systems will have, the kind of the weather deterioration, the visibility conditions over a base, how this will be, how the visibility conditions will be over the target, how the weather will be on target, because the restriction in the fighter flying is tremendous. It's a low endurance aircraft. It doesn't have much of endurance. If it is taken off from an aircraft, if we don't recover aircraft within 50, 60 minutes, and your airfield becomes unsuitable for landing by way of visibility, by way of strong winds, by way of a thundercloud, then where does that aircraft go? So you have to be very clear the moment you find. So anytime when we also advise suitable, which is the next airfield where you can go, and what time is the cutoff time so that you can make it to that airfield. We continuously keep slicing the environment, keep finding as to which is the suitable place. So that is one. Whenever any particular mission is, any particular exercise is planned, we also advise whether when they come to us, and we are very ingrained very integrated part of the entire ops process. Any exercise, when major missions are planned, we are very integrated to it, and it is actually the first task will come to us.
Okay.
If anybody knows, it is the Met officer who knows first. You will be surprised to know that the the famous Balakot strike.
Yes.
The window which I had iterated, I was iterating for 10 days. And this is the window where nobody expected, because we had to, that the, whether the platform will be able to go there, that is one. Whether the weapons which will be released, they will also be suitably, will be able to strike, because target meteorological conditions, the weather conditions en route, and the efforts were to come from all across the country. It was not one. So there was a WD impacting. Then your whole, your entire Punjab was bad actually till night 1 o'clock that day, and nobody expected that the resources can be mobilized from these places. But we had done it, and this window I had 10 days. I had iterated this window, and thereafter I had given this window where nobody expected and anticipated that there could be window, because it was very clear that the weather will be very bad all across till 27th.
Got it.
And which exactly the window was only opened for 1 to 5 o'clock, and thereafter again it went back. Weather.
Got it. Got it.
So everywhere we are so integrated with the operations. The weather is playing such a critical role in Air Force operations that, and if you're so this thing, if you have read history in World War II, you must have heard Operation Overlord, Normandy landings.
Yes, yes.
Have you heard?
Yes.
Normandy landings.
Yes.
That is the seaborne air operations, one of the largest in history of the military. On 5th June 1944, this Operation Overlord was planned. On 3rd June, there was a system which was going in the British Channel. So that time, the Allied Force Commander Eisenhower, who later rose to President of America, the United States. So Group Captain James Stagg, he was the Royal Met Officer. So everybody advised him that we must postpone the Operation Overlord, which was later on named as Operation Neptune actually. And even the German forces, which were deployed all along the western coast of France, they were all they knew very well that now nothing can be happen. There is a system which is coming, there is a storm which is coming, and the weather will be pitch bad next 5-6 days. Nothing can happen, and they had gone on. But it is Captain James Stagg. He said, "Be postponed by 1 day, and we will use lull of the storm for this operation." And this operation was finally launched on 6th June of 1944.
Okay.
And it was such a successful, when the Normandy landing happened, there actually the entire operation took place. They were taken by surprise. The German Nazi generals were not there. They had gone on leave. They never expected this kind of a, the weather will play this kind of a, and actually Eisenhower in his war book, he has written this as a quote. He said, "Thank God, thank the weather god that we have made it."
Got it.
So even the so weather has been one of the critical roles. That is how it is there. Yeah.
Sir, I'll speak more with you about the role of a Met Officer and also your experience. Before that, I'll take you one step back. And if you can, explain us how does a training procedure of a young selected officer look like in the academy, and then thereon, what and all courses do they undergo? If you can picture that for us.
Yeah. Now, see, it's a training aspect is the moment you enter in. We have a very interesting story. So we used to go from. We have AP Express. We were from Kanpur. So AP Express is the one which takes us to Hyderabad. So we were all bubbling, jumping, very good. Suddenly you become very talkative and all when you are boarding your first time to FA. and joining as an officer or a gentleman cadet. And in the same train, what happens that a lot of seniors also go along with you after their 6th term mid-break. And we were boasting with them all, oh, it is this, that, and all, everything. So it was going on very well. When we reached at AFA, there was, Hyderabad, we got down at Hyderabad and Sikandrabad, and thereafter we went to AFA. The moment we reached AFA, the same gentlemen who were seniors, we never thought they could be so. They just asked us to take our trunk on our head and just move to the room. We went to the room, came out of room, and thereafter immediately, there is a Satya barber there.
Okay.
So he just puts him there, front of him, and he'll take 2 minutes to just make you a thorough gentleman cadet. And thereafter, in our training, normal training, we all used to have that 4 o'clock run. Thereafter, drill, then your classes. But I don't think the kind of ragada we get in those times was phenomenal. Thereafter, rest all time, right from 2:30 to night 10, 11 o'clock, we were only on our haunches, rolling at this initially. So actually, we didn't know what had happened to us at that point. What has this to us? We were half of them down. But as the time moved, we got ours. So learning is a very hard way there. And probably that is the requirement. I won't say that is the requirement, because now things have changed totally, and still you get good quality also. So there's nothing. It's all about time, but they were also good time. We relish those times. Actually, we are very happy about those. And we have very good connect with our seniors. So that is how the schedule again afternoon. So AFA training is your more focus is on first 6 months in your physical fitness, in your drill, and some academic classes.
Got it. So you were a very senior Met officer, and you were also, you went to the UN mission. So how was your experience there, and what was your role and learnings from that?
I had gone to UN Mission Sudan. I had gone as a every aviation contingent which goes, there is one Met officer who also goes along with it, because in ATC and Met officer, these are the specialized and Adam officers. These 3 branch officers go. Actually, Adam officer also works. ATC officer works as a Adam officer also. And rest all your pilot, one accounts officer. That is how the composition is made. It's around 200 people in a aviation contingent with 6 helicopters. Your own helicopters operate there. So I had gone as a Met officer, but situations were that time such that this was the last contingent and was to be retrieved also. So I was made also deputy contingent commander for this mission. We prepared, we inducted and de-inducted, all that which I did. And Air Force contingents are little different, because in Air Force, all manpower comes from different units, different, this thing. So making them one cohesive unit is a very difficult task. Rather than army, it is battalion as a whole moves. Air Force, it is all people are selected based on their QRs, and thereafter they are. So we had a wonderful time there, and I was responsible there for the entire security of the our contingent in the multi-national environment. And apart from that, I was also providing the weather services to the entire Kadugli and North Sudan, South Sudan mission areas, to all contingents. All aviation contingents. We Russian contingent, we had a Russian contingent, we had our own contingent, aviation contingent, those who are flying people in the mission area. So it is a wonderful experience to be part of international forces, especially of United Nations.
Got it. Sir, you have spent around 35 years in the Indian Air Force. If you could, tell us any 3 life lessons that you still cherish, which you learned from the armed forces.
Yeah, armed forces, I'll say armed forces, no. See, I'm very clear that I personally believe that the armed forces, it is the team which wins in the armed forces. And I think they, uh, uh, whatever, no, whosoever have achieved, you have worked with finest people, you are working with the finest people. There is no issue with the people in the armed forces. The workforce is tremendous. What you need to do, that you need to identify people for the right job within your command, whatever number of people you are commanding, or you are the section commander, whatever it is. And each person, those who have come into the IAF, they have something in them. You need to find out what is in them. So that is one. And I'll tell you, I have been posted to Leh as a S-Meto, senior Met officer. Now, Leh has a responsibility of manning 21 glacier posts. They are at 21 to 24,000 feet. Okay. And our Met assistants, the one whom I directly command, these Met assistants are posted there for 2 months. They are sent to these high altitude areas, 21,000. Okay, in minus 50 degrees Celsius, they stay there for 60 to 90 days, depending upon their capability, if they don't fall sick or something. But minimum is 60 days and they can be up to 70 days. So what I did when I became there, and these posts always used to remain vacant because some issue with the manpower. Generally, half of the manpower becomes sick the moment they reach at 14,000 feet, 16,000 feet. And there are a lot of moral issues, because why will somebody will go to glacier where you don't know, you won't get ration, you can't eat ration, you can't bath, you can't shave. Actually, to have a natural call, you'll have to take some ice and do it and keep it there only covered next to your this thing. People lose weight close to 14 to 15 kgs. That is what I have seen. So I went to these posts myself, and I have seen how is the life. Then I have started initiating the counseling and the measures how to motivate these people. I said, I can't motivate you. I said, the whatever amount of money you are getting, that is not the motivator to you to go to glacier. The kind of chocolates you are getting, because you can't eat those chocolates there. You get no special ration. So I said, those are not the motivator. I said, motivator is only one, that I'll not let you die. And you will have a story to tell to your children throughout your life that you were in glacier once in a while. And I said, every Indian doesn't get the chance to go to glacier. I said, this is the motivation. And commendation and all, whatever I will able to give you, that I'll give you, that I'll get you from hierarchy. But my motivation is only one, that I'll not let you die. I'll retrieve you the moment I feel that you are in trouble. So you are a soldier. And second, that you will have a story to tell to your children throughout your life. This option, it's 0.0000000% to go to glacier in their life. Okay. And the record was that not a single casualty, not a single people fallen out. All people have gone, and continuously I have maintained 3 years my glacier post. That's a record by itself.
Nice, nice. Sir, I have one more question. Since we have this Met officer in Air Force, do we have a similar parlance in Army and Navy as well, who do a similar kind of role?
Yeah, the very good question actually, because Navy has got, the Navy has got, they induct all officers, those officers who are inducted as education officers. Out of those who has got the science background, they are sent into meteorological branch for some period of time. The moment they become captain, they are again brought back to their parent branch, education. But in this interim years, they are working into meteorological branch, because they also have their air assets plus oceanography. Ships are moving all on the meteorological information. They have got very good and very capable officers. Why I'm very this thing, because I have been in training. I have been directing the staff at AFAC, where I have been. That is the time I have done my PhD also. So I have trained all these officers. The army also, for their mountains, few army officers from their education branch, they had also sent for training.
Okay.
But they do not have army as a cadre, army as a meteorological officers as a cadre. Okay. For some time, they have done cross training of their through Air Force for few army officers, and they are now all working in their parent branch, as I guess. So army does not have.
Understood, sir. Sir, I see the nature of a role that you have. It has more to do with the technology that you use also, right? Because there's a lot of measurements involved, the accuracy that you get. So how do you evaluate, the armed forces in terms of Met? How are we acquiring things in terms of the instruments and technology and adopting new techs? So how do you see that from the level that you have been?
See, a very interesting. The IT has been started in the Air Force by Met officers.
Okay.
For a long period of time, even the Directorate of IT was commanded by Met officers, because savvy. Because of their qualification plus the technology which we have started in the Air Force. The first computers came in Air Force in the Met branch. Today, we have latest radars. We have lightning detection systems. We have our own, the entire numerical weather prediction models we are running. We are very, IT savvy, and our whole network is connected through automated weather information. All stations which are recording, we are collecting that data at the same time, and we are putting back into the models. We are generating forecasts. We are disseminating to all users, and this can be accessed by all Air Force within the intranet of Air Force. And we are continuously, collaborating with the best in the other world. That's how the basic aim for keeping MSc qualification of the Met officer is that they have to collaborate with all scientific organizations, whether India Meteorological Departments, IITM, or anywhere. Like I did a lot of project with all these institutions and worked with all these institutions. So research is a ongoing process in the Air Force, and most of the research is conducted by the Met officers. So we were very heavily, involved in research and development.
So since a lot of aspirants will be watching us, my request would be, what would be your message to all those aspirants who want to join the forces, be it Army, Navy, or Air Force?
My answer is this, that it's wonderful. Services, there's no match to services as long as you have love for services. It has got a different lifestyle, and I still consider one of the best lifestyles it can give you. And the work culture is phenomenal. And as far as work is concerned, I'll say it is up to you. See, you can do routine work. You can do cutting edge work also in the Air Force. The technology, Air Force is highly technological. So anybody's got a lot of chance to work in all fields actually. The only thing is, if you're looking for something like phenomenal money, then you'll have to choose some other profession. You don't have to choose, because the money is fixed. It can offer you wonderful quality of life. It can offer you very good campuses, not always, because it will offer you glacier also. It'll offer you desert also. And I think if you ask any Fauji at any point of time, the postings which he'll narrate you, the best he had were in the all field locations. He will always tell you that the best time he had his life is in field stations. So I think the campuses and all do not matter much.
Thanks a lot, sir, for your time on this interview. And I hope a lot of people who will watch this interview will get an understanding of what the role of a Met officer looks like, and how do they operate on a day-to-day basis. And thank you again for your time. Jai Hind, sir.
Okay, Akash, it's been great to converse with you. And I think my take is this, that you're doing a wonderful job, and keep doing it. God bless you. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir.